Alrighty, so our first step involved in this teardown is the removal of 4 screws holding our case in place. Now the right 2 screws will give us immediate access to the components of the computer, but we will remove the other 2 screws just to be on the safe side. With the screws undone, we will remove the right panel, place the computer down, and focus on attacking all of those cables. Now there are quite a few of them, as you can see, so we will focus on those ribbon cables connecting the drives to the motherboard as well as the ones attached to the power supply. There are quite a few of them present, so we will need some time to get them all undone. Now with most of the wiring out of the way, we can take out the memory from the computer and put those 2 sticks to the side. Now the next step in our teardown is the removal of the screws which hold our cards in place. There will be a total of 3 screws, 1 per card. Now, after prying back a little tab on the motherboard, we get the following: a video card, a modem card, and a network interface card. Now, we remove some more wiring and start to get that motherboard out. Now we're going to be removing quite a few screws here, and as you can tell it takes quite some time, so having a cheap little drill really helps save a lot of time and energy. Saves your wrists too from carpal tunnel. But I mean, there are just so many hidden screws, and I always find it tricky to get them all out the first time. See, it's all stuck because I missed some. But with a little bit of trial and error and a little coaxing, the board finally comes out of the computer. And with that out of the way, we can focus on taking out that power supply. So the first thing is we start to remove the 4 screws holding the unit in place, but we end up actually turning the computer to the side and remove the last 2 screws. Now we let gravity do the work here, and once those are undone, the whole piece kind of falls out and we can get it out that way. Now we take out the left panel, and this gives us access to half of the screws that we need to remove to get out all of those drives. Now we reposition our computer and remove the rest of those screws that we can spot. And once we get all of those out, we will finally get all of our drives out of the computer. We take out the other set of screws. As you can tell, we got ourselves a Maxtor hard drive there. We cut out some extra wires there and pull out the DVD drive from the front. And I mean, the floppy drive just kind of pops out on its own. So now we focus on removing that front plastic faceplate by flipping the case upside down and pressing on both plastic tabs, and the wires for the front come out, and we cut them clean. Those just have some LEDs and a power switch. But at the bottom we have a little USB interface, so we just remove a couple screws there. And yeah, there's a USB board. And now we flip it all the way to the back and get out a case fan here. And this can just go with your copper motors, you just got to remove 4 screws for the most part. Now I did leave a PC speaker on the case in the front there, but it's mostly still and I chose to keep it on. That's the extra wires I cut earlier. And now, to wrap things up, let's take a look at the motherboard. So we apply some pressure there and press on the end of the metal clip holding down an aluminum heatsink, and the clip pops right off, and we are presented with a beautiful picture, our first ceramic CPU of the series. We lift up on the brown handle and pull it out. Now seeing a CPU like this is quite a surprise, and I was fully expecting a fiber CPU, not a ceramic one, but nevertheless I am happy. With that, we have fully scrapped out this computer, and let's take a look at the results. Now as you can see, we got a healthy amount of screws here. In addition, we got a lot of wire, as well as a good number of ribbon cables. Here we can see some shots of the USB board and the power supply, as well as a floppy drive, a DVD drive, and a standard IDE hard drive. Now you can see the motherboard we got as well, and it's looking pretty good, as well as 2 SD-RAM sticks. Now you can see a close-up of the CPU socket with its orange temperature sensor in the middle. Here we can see our 3 cards that we were able to get, as well as our case fans, and of course, no old computer wouldn't be complete without a dirty aluminum heatsink. All that burned up dust. Of course, the best of this all is this beautiful AMD Athlon Ceramic CPU, and that pretty much wraps it up. So here are the results, and I hope I will see you all next time for our 3rd PC in the series.